Jake Morrison wiped the sweat from his forehead as he watched the mining machines dig deep into the rocky ground. The red sun of Kepler 442b was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. He had been the boss of this small mining station for 10 years now. 23 people worked under him, and they all shared the same secret that could get them killed. They were human. For 300 years, the galaxy believed humans were gone forever. Dead. Extinct. The three big alien races had split up, all the old human worlds between themselves. The lizard-like Viraki took the mining planets. The crystal beings called Nexari claimed the tech worlds. The gas creatures known as Zephirites grabbed the farming systems. Jake and his crew lived by pretending to be Terrans, a small, weak alien race that nobody cared about. They kept their heads down, did their work, and hoped nobody would look too closely at them. "Jake, you need to see this." Lisa Bennett's voice came through his radio. She was the station's chief engineer, a smart woman who could fix anything. Her voice sounded worried. Jake walked to the main building where Lisa was staring at her computer screen. Her brown hair was tied back and her green eyes showed fear. "What is it?" Jake asked. "Coalition patrol ships. 3 of them. They're asking questions about our records." Lisa pointed at the screen. "They want to know why our DNA samples don't match the Terran database." Jake felt his blood turn cold. For years they had been careful. They changed their records, hid their real strength, and acted weak. But now someone was checking too carefully. Danny Torres ran into the room. He was young, maybe 25, and handled all their communications. His black hair was messy, and he was breathing hard. "Boss, we got big problems," Danny said. "I've been listening to Coalition radio. They're saying our work is too good. Real Terrans can't mine this fast or this well." Jake looked out the window at the 3 alien ships in the sky. They looked like metal sharks with weapons pointing down at the station. He had hoped this day would never come, but he had prepared for it anyway. "How long before they land?" Jake asked. "Maybe 2 hours," Danny replied. Jake made a choice that would change everything. He walked to a locked metal box in the corner of the room. Inside was a device that hadn't been used for 3 centuries. It was small, black, and covered in human writing that the aliens couldn't read. "Jake, what are you doing?" Lisa asked. "Something I hoped I'd never have to do." Jake's hands shook as he opened the device. "I'm calling home." "Home?" Danny looked confused. "Earth is dead, everyone knows that." Jake smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "That's what we wanted everyone to think." He pressed a series of buttons on the device. It started to glow with a soft blue light. Numbers appeared on its small screen, counting down from 60. "This is a beacon," Jake explained. "Every human colony that went into hiding has one. When we press it, it sends a signal across space to Sol system. But there's nothing in Sol system," Lisa said. "The aliens checked years ago. The aliens don't know how to look in the right places." Jake watched the countdown reach 30. 300 years ago, when the galaxy got too dangerous, humanity didn't die. We went to sleep. The device made a soft beeping sound. The signal was sent. Far away, in the cold darkness of space near Earth, something that had been sleeping for 3 centuries began to wake up. Deep under Earth's oceans, in a place no alien had ever found, machines started to turn on. Lights flickered in dark hallways. Computer screens came to life. In a special room filled with sleeping pods, one pod opened with a hiss of cold air. A woman with short gray hair and steel blue eyes sat up slowly. Admiral Kate Sullivan had been asleep for 300 years, but her mind was still sharp. Red lights flashed around her. An electronic voice spoke. "Star-Annihilator protocol activated. Admiral Sullivan, please report to Command Center." Kate stood up on shaky legs. She was 60 when she went to sleep, and she was still 60 now. The special machines had kept her body young and strong. She put on her uniform and walked through halls she remembered from long ago. The command center was huge, filled with screens and computers. A man in a white coat was already there checking the machines. Dr. Alex Chen looked exactly the same as he had 3 centuries ago. "Kate, you're awake." Alex said. The beacon signal came from Kepler 442b, Jake Morrison's station. How many of our people are out there? Kate asked. We think about 50,000 scattered across 20 systems, all hiding, all waiting. Kate looked at the big screen showing the galaxy. Red dots marked alien territories. Blue dots showed where humans were hiding. And the fleet, she asked. Alex smiled. 500 ships, hidden in dead systems and asteroid fields, all waiting for your command. Back on Kepler 442b, Jake watched the alien ships land. Soldiers in metal suits marched out, carrying weapons that could melt rock. Their leader was tall and covered in green scales. His yellow eyes looked angry. I am Commander Thys, the alien said in a voice like grinding metal. You will explain why your DNA does not match our records. Jake stood tall. He wasn't scared anymore. The signal was sent. Help was coming. Because we're not who you think we are, Jake said. Commander Thys laughed, showing sharp teeth. You are Terrans. Weak, stupid Terrans. No, Jake said. We're human. The word hit the aliens like a punch. They had heard stories about humans. Old stories that said humans were dangerous, but those were just stories. Humans were gone. Impossible, Commander Thys said. Humans are extinct. Jake smiled. We're very much alive. And now that you've found us, the galaxy is about to remember why they used to be afraid of us. In space, above Earth, the first Star-Annihilator ship was already moving. Admiral Kate Sullivan walked through the halls of the underwater base like she owned the universe. Every step echoed in the metal corridors that had been silent for 300 years. The base was huge, bigger than most cities, hidden deep, under the Pacific Ocean where no alien scanner could find it. Dr. Alex Chen followed behind her, carrying a tablet full of information. His footsteps were quick as he tried to keep up with Kate's long strides. The planet looks different, Kate said, looking at the screen showing Earth's surface. What happened while we slept? The defense systems we built kept working, Alex explained. They grew and learned. Earth is now a fortress world. Any alien ship that comes too close gets destroyed before it can land. Kate nodded. That was good. Earth was safe. Show me the weapons, she said. Alex pressed buttons on his tablet. The screens around them showed images of ships hidden throughout the galaxy. They were sleek and black like metal sharks designed to hunt in space. Each one was as long as a city block and packed with weapons that could destroy entire worlds. 500 Star-Annihilator ships, Alex said. Hidden in asteroid fields inside nebulae and dead solar systems. The aliens have been flying past them for 3 centuries without knowing they were there. And they still work? Better than when we built them. The ships have been upgrading themselves, learning new ways to fight. Each one can ignite a star and turn it into a supernova. Kate felt a cold satisfaction. Humanity had prepared well. On Kepler 442b, Jake Morrison was in trouble. Commander Thys had ordered his soldiers to surround the human workers. The aliens pointed their weapons at the humans, but something was wrong. The humans weren't acting scared. Lisa Bennett stood next to her machines, her hands moving over the controls. She was making the mining equipment work as weapons. The big drilling machines turned toward the alien soldiers. You think you can fight us? Commander Thys laughed. We have better weapons, better armor, more soldiers. Maybe, Jake said. But you've never fought humans before. Danny Torres was in the communication room, his fingers flying over his keyboard. He was sending messages to other human colonies, telling them the hiding was over. It was time to fight. Jake, Danny called out. I'm getting answers. Humans in 12 systems are responding. They're all ready. Commander Thys looked confused. This wasn't what was supposed to happen. Terrans were weak. They gave up easily. These people were acting like they knew something he didn't. Attack, he ordered his soldiers. The alien weapons fired beams of red energy at the humans, but the humans moved faster than any Terran should be able to move. They dodged and rolled, using the mining equipment as cover. Lisa's drilling machine shot back, their mining lasers cutting through alien armor like it was paper. Jake picked up a piece of metal pipe and hit an alien soldier so hard that the alien flew across the room. His strength was much greater than any Terran possessed. Impossible, Commander Thiss said. How are you so strong? 300 years of genetic improvements, Jake said, hitting another alien. We didn't just hide. We made ourselves better. The fight was short and brutal. The humans moved like dancers, working together perfectly. Every alien weapon that fired, a human was already moving away from where the shot would hit. Every time an alien tried to attack, a human was behind him with a metal tool or a piece of equipment. In 10 minutes, half the alien soldiers were down. Commander Thiss was backing toward his ship. This is impossible, he said into his radio. Send more ships. Send the whole fleet. But before more ships could come, something appeared in space above the planet. It was black and sleek, much larger than the alien ships. Energy crackled along its hull like lightning. The UES Retribution had arrived. Captain Ryan Brooks stood on the bridge of his ship, looking down at the planet below. He was a tall man with dark skin and calm eyes that had seen 3 centuries of war. His crew moved around him, preparing weapons that could crack planets in half. Open communication with the alien ships, Ryan ordered. His communication officer, a young woman named Beth Clark, pressed buttons on her control panel. Channel open, Captain. Ryan's voice filled the alien ships below. Attention, Viraki vessels. You have attacked human citizens. You have exactly 60 seconds to surrender before I demonstrate why we're called Star-Annihilators. Commander Thiss looked at his screens. His sensors couldn't even understand what they were seeing. The human ship was using technology that was impossible. You're bluffing, Thiss said into his radio. One ship cannot defeat our fleet. Watch me, Ryan replied. The Retribution fired a single beam of energy. It wasn't aimed at the alien ships. It was aimed at the system's outer moon, a dead rock that nobody cared about. The beam hit the moon, and the moon simply disappeared. Not exploded. Disappeared. Turned into energy and scattered across space. Commander Thiss and his soldiers ran for their ships. They took off so fast they almost crashed into each other trying to escape. On the surface, Jake and his crew watched. The alien ships flee. Lisa was bandaging a cut on Danny's arm where an alien beam had grazed him. That was easier than I expected, Lisa said. It won't be easy from now on, Jake replied. Once word gets out that humans are back, every alien government in the galaxy will want to destroy us before we get stronger. A new voice came over their communicators. It was Captain Ryan Brooks. Jake Morrison, this is Captain Brooks of the UES Retribution. Admiral Sullivan wants to speak with you. Jake felt his heart skip. Admiral Kate Sullivan was a legend among humans. She had planned the Great Hiding, the strategy that kept humanity alive when the galaxy became too dangerous. Kate's face appeared on their screen. She looked exactly the same as she had 3 centuries ago when she went into cryosleep. Her gray hair was short and neat. Her blue eyes were sharp and intelligent. Jake, she said, it's time to come home. We have work to do. What kind of work? Jake asked. Kate smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who had been planning revenge for 300 years. We're going to remind the galaxy why they used to be afraid of humans, she said. And then we're going to take our place as the strongest species in known space. On the alien homeworlds, emergency meetings were being called. The Viraki military, leaders gathered in their war rooms. The Nexari scientists ran calculations on their crystal computers. The Zephrite Council floated in heated debate. One word was being spoken in every alien language. Human. The species they thought was dead had returned, and they had weapons that could destroy moons with a single shot. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in her command center, watching reports come in from across the galaxy. Human colonies were revealing themselves. Star-Annihilator ships were moving to protect them. How many alien ships are moving toward our colonies? She asked Alex. Latest count is about 10,000, Alex replied. They're mobilizing everything. They have. Kate nodded. Good. When they're all in one place, it will be easier to destroy them all at once. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity hadn't just survived the past 3 centuries. They had spent that time becoming something much more dangerous than they had ever been before. The alien space station Vextor Prime was the biggest military base in Viraki territory. It floated in deep space, a massive metal structure that housed 50,000 soldiers and their warships. High Counselor Vextar stood in the main command room, his green scales glowing with anger as he watched the reports coming in. "Impossible," he hissed through his sharp teeth. "One human ship destroyed our entire patrol squadron." His military advisors stood around the room looking nervous. General Koss, an old warrior with scars across his face, stepped forward. "The reports say the human ship appeared from nowhere," Koss said. "Our sensors couldn't track it properly. And the weapon that destroyed the moon. Our scientists have never seen anything like it." Vextar slammed his clawed hand on the metal table. "Humans are supposed to be weak. The old records say they were just good at breeding and making simple tools." "Perhaps the old records were wrong," suggested a younger officer. Vextar turned his yellow eyes on the young alien. "The records cannot be wrong. We conquered their worlds. We divided their territories. If humans were strong, how did we beat them?" Nobody had an answer for that. Meanwhile, the UES Retribution moved through space like a silent predator. Its black hull reflected no light, making it almost invisible against the stars. On the bridge, Captain Ryan Brooks studied the star maps with his crew. "Navigation set course for the Nexari border," Ryan ordered. "It's time to deliver our message." Lieutenant Beth Clark looked up from her station. "Captain, we're detecting a large alien fleet moving toward human colonies in the Zeta sector." "How many ships?" Ryan asked. "Over 3,000, sir. Mixed Viraki and Nexari forces." Ryan smiled. "Perfect. More targets." The Retribution jumped into hyperspace, crossing vast distances in minutes. When it appeared at the Nexari border, the effect was immediate. Nexari patrol ships detected the strange vessel and sent urgent messages to their commanders. Ambassador Lyra was in a meeting with other Nexari leaders when the emergency alert came through. She was different from the Viraki. Her body was made of living crystal that glowed with soft blue light. Her people were scientists and diplomats, not warriors like the reptile aliens. "A human ship has appeared in our space," reported Commander 6, his crystal body flickering with worry. "It's requesting to speak with our leadership." "What does it want?" Lyra asked. "To deliver a message." Lyra thought for a moment. The Nexari had always been curious about humans. Their old records spoke of a species that was clever and dangerous, but those records were ancient. Most Nexari believed humans were extinct. "Open communications," she decided. Captain Ryan Brooks appeared on their screens. He was tall and strong, with dark skin and eyes that looked like they had seen terrible things. When he spoke, his voice was calm, but there was steel underneath it. "I am Captain Brooks of the United Earthship Retribution," he said. "I carry a message from Admiral Kate Sullivan to all alien governments in this galaxy." Admiral Sullivan? Lyra had heard that name in the old records. But she would be dead by now. Humans don't live that long. Humans live as long as we choose. "To live," Ryan replied. "Here is our message. Release all human prisoners. Withdraw from all former human territories. Do this, and we will leave you alone. Refuse, and you will learn why we were once called the Star Killers." The Nexari leaders looked at each other nervously. Star Killers was an old word from the ancient texts, but they had thought it was just a myth. "Captain Brooks," Lyra said carefully, "we believed humans were extinct. If you have survived, perhaps we can discuss." "There is nothing to discuss," Ryan cut her off. "You have our terms. You have 24 hours to decide." The communication ended. The Retribution disappeared into hyperspace, leaving the Nexari staring at empty space. On Kepler 442b, Jake Morrison and his crew were packing their equipment. The Retribution had sent transport ships to evacuate them to a safer location. As they worked, Lisa Bennett was downloading data from the alien computers they had captured. "Jake, you need to see this," Lisa said, her face pale as she looked at her screen. Jake walked over to see what she had found. The data showed Viraki research, facilities with human DNA samples, human prisoners being experimented on, and worse things that made Jake's blood boil. They've been capturing our people, Lisa said. For 3 centuries, they've been using us as test subjects. They've been trying to figure out how to copy our abilities. Danny Torres looked up from his communication station. I'm picking up coalition military chatter. They're mobilizing everything they have. Over 10,000 ships are moving toward the Outer Rim colonies. Jake felt anger burning in his chest. For 3 centuries, his people had hidden and been hunted. They had been captured and experimented on. The aliens had taken human worlds and human lives. Any word from the other human colonies? He asked. 15 colonies have revealed themselves, Danny replied. All of them are under attack, but Jake, they're not just defending, they're winning. Across the galaxy, the hidden human colonies were fighting back. On Tau Ceti, 100 humans held off 2,000 Viraki soldiers using weapons they had built in secret. On Proxima B, human fighters flew ships that moved faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. The aliens were learning that humans had not spent 3 centuries just hiding. They had been preparing for war. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in her command center on Earth, watching reports from across the galaxy. Red dots on her screen showed alien fleets moving toward human positions. Blue dots showed her Star-Annihilator ships moving to intercept them. Dr. Chen, she said to Alex, who was monitoring the battle reports, how many of our ships are now active? 50 Star-Annihilators are fully operational, Alex replied. The rest are still powering up their systems. That should be enough, Kate said. Signal Captain Santos on the UES Nemesis. Tell her to begin. The demonstration. Far away near the Crimson Nebula, Captain Maria Santos received the order. She was an older woman with silver hair and hands that were steady on her ship's controls. The UES Nemesis was smaller than the Retribution, but just as deadly. All stations prepare for stellar ignition, Maria ordered her crew. Her weapons officer, Lieutenant Tom Hayes, looked nervous. Captain, are you sure about this? The star is already unstable. That's the point, Maria replied. Open communications. To all ships in the system. There were dozens of alien ships in the area, mostly cargo vessels and a few patrol boats. They all received Maria's message at the same time. Attention all vessels. Her voice filled their communication systems. This is Captain Santos of the United Earth Navy. You are now witnessing the power of humanity. Observe. The Nemesis fired a single beam of energy at the red giant star in the center of the system. The beam was focused and precise, hitting the star's unstable core. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the star began to collapse. The aliens watched in horror as the massive ball of fire started falling in on itself. Then it exploded outward in a controlled supernova that lit up half the sector. The energy wave spread out in all directions, but somehow it passed harmlessly around the alien ships. The humans had turned a star into a weapon, and they had done it with surgical precision. Every alien government in the galaxy received the recordings within hours. The message was clear. Humans could destroy entire solar systems whenever they wanted. High Counselor Vextar stared at the recording for the 10th time. His green scales had gone pale with fear. How? He whispered. How do they have such power? Ambassador, Lyra was asking the same question in Nexari space. Her crystal body had stopped glowing, something that only happened when a Nexari was terrified. We must contact them again, she told her council. We must try to make peace. But it was too late for easy peace. Admiral Kate Sullivan had made her decision. The aliens had hunted humans for 3 centuries. They had experimented on human prisoners. They had stolen human worlds. Now it was time for humans to take back what was theirs. Begin Phase 2, Kate ordered. Awaken all remaining Star-Annihilator ships. It's time to end this. Across the galaxy, in hidden asteroid fields and dead star systems, 450 more ships began to wake up. Each one was a weapon that could destroy worlds. The aliens were about to learn that when humans said they were star killers, they meant it literally. The Crimson Nebula was a graveyard of old stars, a place where dying suns cast red light through clouds of space dust. It was here that Fleet Admiral Zorketh had gathered the largest military force in Coalition history. 3,000 ships floated in formation, their weapons pointed toward the small fleet approaching them. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the UES Ragnarok, her flagship, and the most powerful ship humanity had ever built. Through the massive viewing window, she could see the alien armada waiting for them. 3,000 ships against 12. The aliens thought they had already won. "Admiral," reported her weapons officer, Commander Pete Wilson. "Enemy fleet is in position. They're not moving to attack yet. They're waiting to see what we do," Kate replied. "Let's show them." Fleet Admiral Zorketh was a Viraki war hero, a massive alien covered in black scales with orange stripes. He had fought in 100 battles and never lost. His yellow eyes studied the small human fleet with confusion. 12 ships, he said to his bridge crew. They send 12 ships against 3,000? Are they surrendering? His communication officer, a younger Viraki named Sek, looked at his screens. "Sir, they're not responding to our surrender demands, and our sensors, they're having trouble reading their ships properly." "What do you mean?" "The energy readings don't make sense. Each human ship is showing power levels higher than our entire fleet combined." Zorketh laughed, showing his sharp teeth. "Sensor malfunction. Human technology is primitive, prepared to attack." But before he could give the order, Admiral Kate Sullivan opened communications to all ships in the area. "Fleet Admiral Zorketh." Her voice filled every alien bridge. "I am Admiral Kate Sullivan of the United Earth Navy. You have invaded human space and attacked human civilians. You have one chance to withdraw your forces peacefully." Zorketh activated his own communication system. "Admiral Sullivan, if that is really your name, you are outnumbered 250 to 1. Surrender now, and we may allow you to live." Kate smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "I was hoping you would say that." The battle began when Zorketh ordered his front line to attack. 500 alien ships opened fire at once, sending thousands of energy beams and missiles toward the human fleet. None of them hit their targets. The 12 Star-Annihilator ships moved like they were dancing. They spun and twisted through space, dodging attacks that should have been impossible to avoid. Captain Ryan Brooks, commanding the UES Retribution, flew his ship through a cloud of alien missiles like he was threading a needle. "All ships," Kate's voice came over the human communication network. "Begin engagement. Show them what 3 centuries of preparation can do." The human ships opened fire. The aliens had never seen weapons like these. Instead of simple energy beams, the human ships fired concentrated streams of exotic matter that cut through alien shields like they were made of paper. The UES Nemesis, commanded by Captain Maria Santos, destroyed 50 alien ships with a single shot that somehow bent space around itself. On Earth, Dr. Alex Chen monitored the battle through quantum communication links. His screens showed the positions of every ship, the energy levels of every weapon, and the tactical decisions being made by both sides. "Kate's doing exactly what we planned," he said to his assistants. "Draw them into a tight formation, then demonstrate the stellar weapon." The alien fleet was in chaos. Their commanders couldn't understand how human ships could move so fast or hit so hard. Captain Ryan Brooks flew the Retribution through the center of their formation, his weapons destroying everything in his path. "Impossible," Zorketh roared at his bridge crew. "How are they so fast?" His science officer, a nervous alien named Vox, looked up from his computers. "Sir, I think I understand. The humans aren't just using normal engines. They're manipulating space-time itself. They're bending reality around their ships. That's impossible." "So was igniting a star, but they did that too." Zorketh looked at his tactical display. In just 10 minutes, he had lost over 1,000 ships. The human fleet hadn't taken a single hit. "All ships concentrate fire on their flagship," he ordered. 2,000 alien ships turned their weapons toward the UES Ragnarok. The amount of firepower heading toward Kate's ship would have destroyed a planet. Kate watched the incoming attack on her screens. "Weapons. Target the red giant at coordinates 77 Mark IV. Commander Wilson looked confused. "Admiral, that's not an enemy ship. That's a star." "I know what it is," Kate replied calmly. "Fire." The Ragnarok's main weapon was called the Stellar Ignition Cannon. It fired a beam of energy that could reach across a solar system and touch the heart of a star. The beam struck the red giant. just as thousands of alien weapons hit the Ragnarok, but the alien weapons never reached their target. The Ragnarok's shields were made of the same technology that let their ships bend space. The alien attacks hit the shields and simply disappeared, absorbed into folded space-time. The red giant began to collapse. "All ships, retreat to safe distance," Kate ordered. "Stellar detonation in 30 seconds. The human fleet moved away from the dying star at impossible speeds. The alien fleet was trapped in the middle of the formation, too close to escape in time." "Full retreat," Zorketh screamed. "All ships emergency jump," but it was too late. The star exploded in a controlled supernova, just like the one Captain Santos had created earlier. But this time, the energy was directed. Kate had turned the explosion into a weapon, focused and aimed at the alien fleet. The wave of stellar fire washed over 1,500 alien ships, turning them instantly into glowing vapor. The remaining ships that were farther away were damaged and spinning out of control. In less than 20 minutes, the largest military force in Coalition history had been reduced to scattered survivors running for their lives. Jake Morrison watched the battle from the bridge of the Retribution, where Captain Brooks had brought him as an observer. Lisa Bennett and Danny Torres stood beside him, staring at the screens in amazement. "We just destroyed half their fleet with one shot," Lisa whispered. "That's not even our strongest weapon," Captain Brooks said casually. The Admiral was being gentle. Danny looked at his communication equipment. "I'm getting surrender requests from the surviving ships, and emergency messages from Coalition High Command. They want to negotiate." Jake felt satisfaction burning in his chest. For 3 centuries, aliens had hunted his people, captured them, experimented on them. Now the hunters had become the hunted, but Admiral Kate Sullivan wasn't done yet. Back on the alien homeworlds, panic was spreading. High Counselor Vextar received the battle reports in his war room, his green scales turning pale as he read them. 1,500 ships destroyed in 20 minutes, he read aloud. Fleet Admiral Zorketh presumed dead. Surviving ships report enemy weapons that can ignite stars. His advisors stood around the room in silence. Nobody knew what to say. General Koss finally spoke up. "Perhaps we should consider surrender." "Never." Vextar slammed his fist on the table. "I will not bow to humans. Activate the planet killer. Bombs. If we cannot defeat them in battle, we will destroy every world that has humans on it." Ambassador Lyra, listening to Coalition communications from Nixari space, heard about the planet killer weapons. Her crystal body flickered with fear and anger. "They're going to target civilian populations," she told her council. "We must stop this madness." "How?" asked Commander Zix. "The Varaki have gone insane with fear. By contacting the humans directly. By offering them our surrender before more people die." But it was too late to stop what was coming. Admiral Kate Sullivan had already received intelligence about the planet killer weapons. Dr. Alex Chen brought her the report as she stood in her command center. 50 planet killer bombs, aimed at our largest colonies, Alex said. "They plan to launch them in 6 hours." Kate nodded. She had expected this. When cornered, the Varaki always chose to destroy what they couldn't control. "Signal all Star-Annihilator ships," she ordered. "Full activation. All 500 vessels. Combat. Ready? It's time to end this war permanently." Across the galaxy, the remaining 450 Star-Annihilator ships powered up their weapon systems. Each one was capable of destroying multiple star systems. Together, they had enough firepower to sterilize the entire galaxy. The aliens had started this war by hunting humans. Now humanity was going to finish it in a way that would be remembered for 1,000 years. The galaxy held its breath as 500 Star-Annihilator ships appeared from their hiding places across known space. They emerged from asteroid fields, dead nebulae, and the dark spaces between stars where they had waited for 3 centuries. Each ship was a weapon that could destroy worlds, and now they were all moving toward Coalition space. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the command center of the UES Ragnarok, watching the tactical display as her fleet took positions around every major alien world. Her gray hair was perfect, her blue eyes calm, but there was steel in her voice when she opened communications to the entire galaxy. Attention all alien governments. Her voice reached every planet, every space station, every ship in coalition territory. This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the United Earth Navy. You have 6 hours to meet our demands or face the complete destruction of your civilizations. On the Varaki homeworld, High Counselor Vex Tar stared at the tactical screens. In his war room, 50 human ships surrounded his planet, their weapons aimed at the surface. His green scales were pale with fear, but his yellow eyes still burned with anger. They're bluffing, he told his advisors. 50 ships cannot threaten an entire planet. General, Koss looked at the sensor readings with growing horror. Sir, each of those ships has enough firepower to crack our world in half. And these are just the ones we can see. Impossible. Sir, we lost 1,500 ships in 20 minutes. They turned a star into a weapon. I don't think they're bluffing. Vextar's clawed hands shook as he activated his communication system. All planet killer bombs, immediate launch. Target every human colony. If we die, they die with us. But when the Varaki tried to launch their planet killer weapons, something went wrong. The bombs simply wouldn't fire. Their launch systems had been disabled. How? Vextar demanded. His science officer looked terrified. The human ships are jamming our system somehow. They're controlling our own weapons. What the aliens didn't know was that for 3 centuries, human technology had been evolving and learning. Dr. Alex Chen had designed systems that could hack into any alien computer, disable any alien weapon, and turn their own technology against them. Sir, General Koss said quietly, I recommend surrender. Never! Vextar screamed. He grabbed his personal weapon and pointed it at his own advisors. Anyone who speaks of surrender will be shot. But it was too late. 3 Varaki generals had already opened secret communications with Admiral Sullivan. Tikir, the Nexari homeworld. Ambassador Lyra made a different choice. Her crystal body glowed with calm blue light as she stood before the Nexari High Council. We must surrender immediately, she said. The humans have shown they can destroy us whenever they choose. Our only hope is to negotiate. Commander Zix flickered with worry. But what will they demand? Probably less than what the Varaki will lose by fighting, Lyra replied. She opened communications to the UES Ragnarok. When Admiral Sullivan's face appeared on her screen, Lyra spoke in the most respectful tone her people had. Admiral Sullivan, I am Ambassador Lyra of the Nexari Confederation. We formally surrender to your forces and request terms for peace. Kate studied the crystal alien for a moment. The Nexari had always been more reasonable than the Varaki. They were scientists, not warriors. Your surrender is accepted, Kate said. Your terms are simple. Immediate withdrawal from all former human territories. Release of all human prisoners. Full reparations for 3 centuries of occupation. And integration into the new galactic government under human leadership. We accept, Lyra said without hesitation. The Zephyrites, the gaseous aliens who controlled the agricultural worlds, surrendered even faster. Their leaders contacted Admiral Sullivan within an hour of her ultimatum. But the Varaki chose to fight. Hi. Counselor Vextar launched every ship he had left at the human forces surrounding his homeworld. 2,000 Varaki warships attacked the 50 Star-Annihilator vessels. The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes. Captain Maria Santos, commanding the UES Nemesis, demonstrated why humans were called Star Killers. Her ship fired a single beam that passed through 700 Varaki ships, destroying them all in one shot. The beam didn't stop there. It continued into space and destroyed 3 empty moons just to show that it could. The remaining Varaki ships surrendered immediately. High Counselor Vextar, watching his fleet disappear, finally understood what he was facing. These weren't the weak humans from the old stories. These were something far more dangerous. Open communications to the human fleet, he said with defeat in his voice. Admiral Kate Sullivan's face appeared on his screen. Her expression was cold and final. High Counselor Vexitar, she said. Do you surrender? Vexitar's pride fought with his survival instinct. Pride lost. "We surrender," he said, the words tasting like poison. "Good," Kate replied. "Your government is dissolved. Your military forces will be disbanded. Your people will be relocated to reservation worlds where they can live peacefully under human supervision." Reservation worlds? Vextar's anger flared again. "You cannot treat the Varaki like animals." Kate's expression didn't change. "You treated humans as experimental subjects for 3 centuries. You are fortunate that we are allowing you to live at all." The communication ended. High Counselor Vextar slumped in his chair, finally understanding that the galaxy had a new master. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution as Captain Brooks brought the ship into orbit around a green world that had once been called New Terra. It was one of the first human colonies, abandoned 3 centuries ago when humanity went into hiding. "It's beautiful," Lisa Bennett said, looking at the planet through the viewscreen. Rivers and forests covered the surface, exactly as humans had left them. "It's ours again," Jake replied. He was no longer just a mining foreman. Admiral Sullivan had appointed him as the first human colonial governor, responsible for resettling the abandoned human worlds. Danny Torres looked up from his communication station. "Jake, I'm getting messages from all over the galaxy. Human colonies are coming out of hiding everywhere. The count is up to 80,000 people." 80,000, Jake repeated. "That's more than we thought survived." "And growing," Danny added. "We're finding humans in places we never expected. Seems like our people were better at hiding than the aliens were at finding." On Earth, Dr. Alex Chen presented Admiral Sullivan with reports from across the galaxy. The war was over, but now came the harder task of building peace. "The Nexari are adapting well to the new order," Alex said. "They're actually excited about working with our scientists. Apparently, they want to learn how we manipulate space-time." "Let them learn," Kate replied. "Knowledge shared is power multiplied." The Zephyrite are requesting permission to continue managing the agricultural worlds. "They say they want to feed the galaxy, not rule it." "Granted. What about the Varaki?" Alex's expression grew serious. "That's more complicated. Most of their people are accepting the new reality, but there are resistance groups forming. They're calling themselves the Liberation Front." Kate nodded. She had expected this. The Varaki had ruled through force for centuries. It would take time for them to accept being ruled. "Double the security around former Varaki military leaders," she ordered, "and begin the integration program for their civilians. Show them that human rule means protection, not oppression." Ambassador Lyra arrived on Earth a month later, the first non-human to visit the human homeworld in 3 centuries. She stood in Kate's office, her crystal body glowing with nervous energy. "Admiral, I bring greetings from the Nexari Confederation," she said. "We are honored to be part of the new Galactic Council." Kate gestured for her to sit. "Ambassador, you've seen our military power, but I want you to understand something important. Humans don't want to rule through fear." "I don't understand." "The Varaki conquered through force. They took what they wanted and destroyed what they couldn't use. Humans are different. We protect what we value, and we value life." Lyra's crystal body flickered thoughtfully. "The galaxy has never known that kind of rule. Then it's time for the galaxy to learn." Kate walked to her window, looking out at Earth's blue oceans and green continents. The planet was more beautiful than it had been 3 centuries ago. The automated systems had cleaned the air, restored the forests, and filled the seas with life. "We could have destroyed every alien world," Kate continued. "We have weapons that could sterilize the entire galaxy. But we chose not to use them. That's the difference between human rule and alien rule." Over the following months, the new order took shape. Human governors were appointed to oversee each sector of the galaxy. The Star-Annihilator fleet became the foundation of galactic peace, ensuring that no species would again face extinction at the hands of another. Jake Morrison established the first new human colonies on worlds that had been empty for centuries. Lisa Bennett led teams of engineers who combined human and alien technology to create wonders that neither species could have built alone. Danny Torres managed the new galactic communication network, ensuring that every world could speak to every other world instantly.